Dance has a way of transforming the way we embody military training. Military members are much like dancers. They learned choreographed movement, they rehearse choreographed movement, and then they might have a couple of minutes or a couple of hours to actually perform their choreographed movement in the theater of war. Dance offers the opportunity to move people away from that harsh military training into a space where they can reconnect with love, with joy, with imagination, and with others again.
I volunteered for Vietnam in 1969. 79 days and I had a breakdown. When I came back, I traveled for months, hitchhiked all over the country. I was a mess and I didn't know how messy.
I was a medic on the front lines, running medical support for convoys, which is like 911 on the road. My transition to the civilian world was very challenging.
I'd grown up in some chaos. I was really searching at a young age for stability. Around 19, I joined the Navy to become a cryptologist. I was stationed in Japan, where I spent 3 years.
I'm a retired Army officer after a 30-year career. It's been a very hard adjustment to be fully in the civilian world now. In some ways, you feel adrift.
Exit12 Dance Company started working with military veterans and bringing them into the studio about 2011. And what we have developed is a workshop that brings them into a room, introduces them to the concept of creativity and imagination, gets them moving in a very easy way, and then scaffolds that experience so that as they move through, they're doing harder and harder tasks, and they're sharing more important parts of themselves.
What's interesting about the military and its movement, and I noticed this during my first rehearsal, is that the only choreography with which I was familiar involves holding a weapon. Translating that into non-confrontational movement has been both liberating and also frightening.
I'm really used to being in my head, so moving into my body can be a really nice relief. I have my own kind of inner dialogue while in the workshop moving around, like, how can I let this go? How can I breathe this way?
It was really this exploration of how do I save my life, and realizing that the trauma was activating me and that I was feeling like I was in an ocean and I was drowning.
One of the things I've definitely learned about trauma is the way that it narrows down the mind. Dance allows us to go big and to have an expression of really serious emotion that allows people to approximate something that was really difficult without having to go fully through it and to create a safer version of that moment.
The next time you do your movement, think about the word that you have in your pocket. And I want to see if you can transform the movement you've just done to reflect the word in your pocket. If I was doing something frantic and the word in my pocket was peaceful, I might just let this float a little bit, change the quality, change the timing, maybe change the level. The way you want it to feel, the way you want it to look, to reflect the emotion you have in your pocket.
How do I feel? Still very uncertain, very tense, until I'm actually doing it. And kind of get out of my head a little bit and just focus on the movement instead of worrying about what it looks like and just purging myself of whatever I'm feeling through movement.
In those moments when I'm feeling true, full, authentic joy, I don't feel pain.
Chaos is feeling like at any moment I am pushed into a space and time that was not my choosing. I realized that I had to find a way through, and I had to find my joy to release myself from chaos and be in my purpose.
By staying connected with creative forces, we started to build a community.
We're bringing in those affected by conflict and giving them a space to move through that.
When we thought about Truths Colliding and bringing veterans together to create a work, we thought about bringing other people impacted by war into the space, like refugees from the war in Ukraine, to create understanding, to create dialogue that could help the conversations about Iraq, Afghanistan, and Ukraine not disappear. We know that the minute we step out the room onto the stage, the fun happens. And there's no right out there and there is no wrong. It is just live. And give your hearts to the audience because I've seen them and they are beautiful. Have a wonderful, wonderful show.
Without community, we are lost. Without movement and expression, we're in trouble. And it keeps us in our joy. It also helps us transmute grief.
The more intense the experiences that you're working through, the more necessary the need to express them becomes. Sometimes it's a poem, it's a novel, it's a piece of music, it's a dance.
One of the most valuable things I lost in Vietnam was a sense of camaraderie. The military is built around camaraderie. We have to support each other. We have to keep each other safe. And I felt that shattered in Vietnam. Working with Exit12 is to recreate camaraderie. It's powerful to link arms and dance together.
With Truths Colliding, we're getting a bunch of service members who served to stand up and say, we were impacted by war, we were impacted by service, and we have trauma. And hopefully they can be an example to those who struggle, and maybe a motivation to talk about it, to reach out for support, or to get help.